Okay, it is January 20th, I believe, maybe 21st, I don't know. Anyway, having to put cameras in at another one of our buildings. I think I told you this already. And my boss brought me some other stuff, some more camera stuff to get started with. And he brought me some more stuff that had come in today. What he brought me the other day was just a small pan tilt zoom camera, and it's vandal resistant or tamper proof or tamper resistant, whatever you want to call it. It's not the best camera. It's fairly cheap. I like it, but during the daytime, decent picture. Nighttime, yeah. I think part of the problem is, I don't know if y'all can tell in there with the dome, but there's I don't know, three or four infrared LEDs in there. Problem is, there's nothing to keep the light from those LEDs from hitting the dome and bouncing back in. And it blinds the camera somewhat, so it's not a very good picture. Uh, I would show you that, but it's not the best picture, and it's also going to be harder to do. Then he brought me, pardon the mess, he brought me a handful of infrared, kind of like a floodlight. It works good. Um, I haven't set them up on the outside of the building here, which is where I really need them the most. I haven't had a chance. I was up there on the roof. It was raining all day yesterday, or not yesterday, a couple days ago, and I was up there on the roof in the rain, running a new cable for one of the cameras, and it happens to be one of those PTZ cameras. Still got to do some setup with that. It's a pain in the butt. Um, but it does work. It does come on. I just can't control it from in here yet. So, okay, that's fine. Today he brought me well, when I set up that PTZ camera, just to run the cable from the front end of the building across the driveway, which is where it was at, all the way to the back of the building, across, and then into here where the DVR is going to go, was around 200 foot of coax. And when I told him today how much cable it had taken, he's like, "Man, what'd you use all that cable on?" He didn't understand. You got to consider the length of the building's 100 feet, and all the going back and forth to get down here to where it's got to go and everything. That's almost another 100 feet. So, yeah, it took a lot of cable. But you also don't want to cut the cable short and leave yourself just enough to do what you need. You want to have an extra foot and a half roughly. So I had to do that. I got to set some shelves up for where I'm going to put the DVR out here. He did bring me a couple of things we ordered specially because when you're setting up 16 cameras, you wind up needing several power strips by the time it's said and done. So what we did was, since we're using custom cut cables, 18 panel or 18 circuit power supply. Now, I'm not a fan of this one because it doesn't have the individual fuses for these. And it comes with the cord, but blue, yellow, and brown. Which one's which? In here it says LN and ground. So which one is the earth, or ground or earth, of course. So which one's which in here? You don't know. So now I got to go through the hassle of finding out. And it's going to work out fine. I don't know how many amps it'll put out per circuit, but comes with some screws, so that's a good thing. It'll make it easier to mount on the wall. It is lockable, so tenants can't disconnect the power to it. I will probably hardwire this in so that I don't have to worry about a tenant being able to unplug it. And it has the knockouts on the bottom, so you can do that. Not the best picture, but that's the best I can do. So I will do that, and that'll save that from happening at this other building where we're putting it. But we're putting this in where we're doing 16 cameras. And with that, I don't have to have this inside the DVR enclosure we're building. I can have it next to it and just make a frame to go around it so that the cables can be fed in and all. So that'll work fine. We have to have, like I said, tamper-resistant cameras. So he ordered, it doesn't really show a picture of the camera on here. It says Linear Vandal Dome Day-Night Infrared. It's a NTSC video format, 12-24 volts. Okay. The lens, 2.8-12 millimeter, whatever they're supposed to mean by that. But I don't know how well it's going to work. But it's supposed to be a digital security camera. Now I've already had this open and kind of looked at it. And it is a very good camera. This is higher quality than what he would normally get for these. And the price is actually pretty fair. I mean, these were like 35 bucks. Now, tamper-resistant screws are a must. But it's got the infrared. I don't know how well this is going to work. I'm actually going to set it up out here tonight and give and see how it does. I'm going to monitor it. I'm just going to set it in here so I can have the lights off. And that'll tell me a lot. And then what I'll do is I'll do a review video on this either tomorrow or the day after, and I'm going to post a link to the manufacturer of the camera. That way there they can see the ins and outs of this camera. Is it good? Is it bad? And honestly, with what I have seen with this camera so far, it is actually a very good camera. The way it's set up, it looks like a solid base here, but it's not really a solid base. It take these 3 screws out, dome comes off, plastic cover comes off inside of that, and then you got 3 more screws you take out, and then you turn that inside piece a 1/16 of a turn and pull it out, and it's just the white base. And then you anchor that to your sealant, to your wall or whatever, and you can put it to where it just anchors and goes straight through a hole into your attic or whatever, or into a piece of conduit. This does unscrew. So definitely better. 3-axis adjustability. So I think it's going to be good. The pan-tilt zoom, the PTZ cameras, those are 2 megapixels. I think these are going to be like a 1 or maybe a 1.5 megapixel. I don't know because it doesn't say like that, so I've got to do the research on that. We got a nice DVR, 16 channel DVR. I've already opened it and kind of got it set up. Came with a 4 terabyte hard drive. It's Sanche, I think is how they pronounce it. We've been using their DVRs, and this first 16 channel we got from them was pretty decent, but then something happened to it and it just didn't work anymore right within the first couple of months. So we contacted the seller because it was still under warranty. We bought it off of eBay. Everything we've been buying is off of eBay. But anyway, the seller, we shipped it back. They sent us a new one, and it's actually worked pretty good. The fan that keeps it cool, now it's a cheap fan. I'll say it like that. And because of that, it gets a little rattly. Or should I say the bearings are real noisy most of the time. It gets any kind of dust on it, it gets noisy. So I don't like that one. But this one here, it's the same as the first one, and it only has, how many ones does it have? 6 audio inputs instead of the first one we got. It had 16 audio inputs on top of the 16 camera inputs. But when we sent it back and they sent us the new one, it only came with 8 audio inputs, I think it was, or maybe it was 6. Yeah, it was 6, that's right. Anyway, it came with 6 audio inputs, which is fine, that's really all we will need, and the 16 video. And on this one here, which is the same as the first one, the exhaust fan for cooling was on the side. But on the one we got now, it's on the back. So we're going to have to see how this one does. It has a RS-485 output, and I'm not sure how that's going to work with my PTZ cameras. The first 16 camera we got, it's not wanting to work with the PTZ cameras. It doesn't have the option of changing the video format and all this, so it's not cooperating with the cameras at all. I don't know if it will if I tried this, but because the PTZ cameras are going to be used here, I'm going ahead and putting the new DVR here. Plus, I think it's going to be a lot quieter, so I'm going to go ahead and keep this one here and put the other one in another area where the noise ain't going to matter. And the reason why I say that, excuse me, is this one here is going to be in my office, in my shop here. And I don't want all that excess noise. I want it to be as quiet as possible. So that's a concern I had. Whereas where the other one's going to go, it's in a laundry room where nobody's sitting all day and has to hear it or anything. It's just a standard apartment laundry room. And it will be in an enclosure that will be vented appropriately so that people can't try and sling water in there to get it wet and mess up the DVR or the power supply or anything like that. That's one thing I was concerned about. So we're going to work with that. So that's going to be quiet. The hard drive that came with this particular one is a 4 terabyte Seagate hard drive, which is a very good hard drive, very, very good setup. It comes with your power supply, it comes with the standard mouse, and a remote control. So it's decent. It's a decent setup. And then I could have gotten it just the DVR with the remote and the mouse and been good. But we wind up having a need occasionally where to put that box. Okay, I set the camera on it. We have occasionally the need to replace some of our old dome cameras. It's going to happen. So rather than try and buy the cameras separately, which is going to be very expensive, I've already priced it, and may not work, we went ahead and got the option for 16 bullet cameras to come in. Okay, so this will work perfectly for what we're going to do. And I'm going to enjoy this because I've dealt with these before. And they're actually pretty good cameras, these bullet cameras. And I don't even have to have a junction box to mount this on. I can just mount it on the end of a piece of conduit very easily by simply unscrewing this, putting a 90-degree elbow on the conduit, and then threading it into that 90-degree elbow. And I'm good to go. So that's going to be a nice thing to have. But if I do it like that, problem is I got to find a way of feeding the cable in. So it's still going to go in a box. 16 cameras, and then they come with these cheap, no-name cables. Now these here, they might be better than the old ones were, but the last sets we've gotten of these, pure garbage. I mean, they're not even worth what they're made out of. I mean, I've fought with these and fought with these and fought with these to no end. And I mean, if you're lucky to get it pulled through your conduit or whatever and run where it's got to go and get it all set up without damaging the cable, if you're lucky, you might get at best a year out of them. I mean, we put some new ones in and it ain't even been a year since he paid me to do that, and I'm already having to come back and rerun cable. That's how bad they are. And this is in conduit, protected from the elements and all this, and it's already messed up. So, yeah, I'm a little frustrated with these. But what can you do? You know, you're stuck with what you have. These here, they make them pain in the butt to get set up. But, yeah, that's the worst of the stuff, or the majority of the stuff he's got me. It's mostly stuff like this. So, now, one thing I do like about having this DVR, which is what we're getting for all of them, is it has the Ethernet port. So I can connect it into our internet and access it remotely. And supposedly, I can control my security cameras remotely on the PTZ cameras. That will be a nice bonus if it does actually work. But with these cameras, it's not an actual PTZ. They call it a coaxial connection, or coaxial PTZ, and it works differently. So when I go into the menu to control it, I have to tell it to go into the coaxial control to control the PTZ functions. But each one of those cameras, you have to set it up to work with remote control. And it's hard to do when you've got the camera already mounted up in a box hanging from the roof. So I've got to take that one loose. I'm just going to take it and switch it out with the one I've already set up, and I'll be good again. So that'll be done. But yeah, I have plenty of power supplies for now to power up my security cameras. So I figured I'd show y'all. Let me turn on this heat. It's a little chilly out here. Dang it. Where's the power cord? I unplugged it. It's actually this morning when I got up and went outside to go pick up a rental truck for a friend, because his insurance, his wife got the insurance policy on their vehicle and put his name on it with hers as and with him as a secondary. Problem is, because of that, it doesn't show up on his insurance card, on the paper card. And his insurance company doesn't have digital access. So you don't have an app and all that, so it's BS. So he can't rent the truck to go pick up building materials. And it's a Home Depot truck. So it's like, okay. So what I do is I go over there with him, I pick up the truck, and I wind up driving it and take him to where we've got to pick up the materials, get them picked up, bring him back to his place, drop him off, and then return the truck. Now, he buys me my breakfast or lunch, whatever time of day it is, you know, and if I need a drink, he'll get me a drink. So he's a pretty good guy. But yeah, it's just one of those things. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and set this start setting this DVR up, and let y'all kind of see what it's like doing this. I did get, when I set these up, I have to have a wireless mouse. Okay, then plug the power cable up to it. I'm gonna set it aside while I get the mouse and get it plugged up or set up. Did they not give me batteries with this thing? Dang it! I didn't realize they hadn't. Hopefully, I got some down here. Okay, maybe they did. I like these little bitty mice. Oh yeah, they gave me a battery with it. Cool. They just put it in already. Are you kidding me? These idiots. They do that really. They put the battery in the mouse, which is something they normally don't do because it's supposed to be in there. So they put the battery in the mouse. Okay, that's fine. I'll deal with that. But then they put the little plastic tab in there to keep it from coming on. And then turn the switch on, but they don't have that tab all the way in, so it doesn't keep it from coming on. So now the battery is dead. Freaking idiots. Okay, I'll just steal one out of this, I think. If this uses AAA, I don't remember. Yep, good. I'll just steal one of these for now, and I'll just have to go get me some cheap batteries from the store if I don't have any upstairs. Tell me this thing's already broke. Okay. Lovely. Well, we'll see what it does. If it doesn't come on, I'll just grab one of my regular mice and plug it up to it. Much as I don't like to do that. Okay, I think USB 2. It says USB 1 is the top for your mouse. So we'll do that. Now, hook that up. Got my heat going in here, and I can already feel a difference. Okay, where'd I put it? I've got so many freaking power strips in here. I've got that one up there that y'all can't see above me. That's going to be moved over that way to give me more space, more outlets. But I might even move it back behind y'all. I don't know. We'll see. See how I feel about it when it comes time to set it up. But anyway, so I've got like one here, one back behind the printer for a lot of my computer stuff. Got another one down here by my feet for the my monitors and all. Then I got one over here for my fish tank stuff, because you got the light, you got the air pump, you got the water filters, the heater for it. Crazy. But I'm only, okay, that's saying that's done now. Now let's switch the HDMI cable to that one. Let me get that undone, untangled. Come on now. Kidding me? There it is. Okay, we're good. Okay, so easy setup. It's already done. That's as far as doing the basic setup. I just plug my HDMI up. Took the batteries out of my one TV remote, but I've got another remote that will power up the TV. That's the remote that came with the TV. This remote, which I just used, it works the TV, but that was for a home theater system I had gotten. And it was a pretty nice actual home theater system, actually. It was like supposed to be 1,500 watts or some such altogether, and surround sound, Blu-ray. I could actually play Netflix on there and all this, and it worked great for a couple of years. And then one day, all of a sudden, it just started changing modes and just acting crazy on me. And put it up, and we moved over to here. I got it out. I was thinking, well, maybe it was picking up some kind of radio interference from somebody else's remote or something. So I went ahead and, pulled it back out, set it back up, tried it. It worked okay for about 45 minutes, and then started doing it again. Okay, so I opened it up, took it apart, cleaned it. Did okay for a little bit. Started doing it again. Okay, garbage time. I've actually kept the speakers, and I've really not done too much with them. Played with them here and there. As a matter of fact, I use one for my subwoofer down here. Just, it's not much I can do with it. See there, where is my mouse? It's on. Okay, so my mouse is working. It just doesn't show up that it's working. So it was good battery. I guess they're using an infrared light or something in there, a light I can't see. But yeah. Okay, so now it's looking for a TVI input. I'm actually going to put you guys up where you can see the USB extension cable. I needed that. Put you where you can maybe see the TV some. Yeah, not very good. Let's see if I can't set it up better. We'll just have to maybe... Okay, that's about the best I'm going to get you. So what I'm going to do is pull my mouse, get my mouse set up so you can see. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to TVI and AHD. Just show you what I did. Okay, then you can see it says AHD, TVI, or auto, all, or just each camera individually. Now, in this case, because I'm going to set up this one camera, and I know it's a, what did I say it was, a TVI? Or I know the recording was NTSC. Yeah, NTSC format, so that's fine. What I'm going to do is set this up. That's fine. It's on auto, so it'll automatically choose the right format. I'm going to pull out this one camera, set it up where it can see something at least. I don't know what yet. I forgot I got to adjust the angle of the lens too. Almost forgot. But comes with everything you need hardware wise. It even comes with a wrench for the security screws, so I don't have to go out and buy a special wrench. And each camera comes with a wrench, so you're gonna have what you need. Oh, it even has a CVI. My other one didn't even have that. Let me see what happens if I do that. Yep. Okay. Just had somebody hollering to get in the gate because they don't bring their keys. Actually, they don't have a clicker for the gate opener, and that's because there's somebody a guest, and they ain't supposed to have a key as a guest. So turn this back around a little bit so y'all can see what I'm doing a little bit. Anyway, trying to get this little key thing out of the package so I can take out that plug for now, because I'm going to run my cable through that instead of out the bottom so it can sit flat. Now they set this up to where it runs out, the cable runs out the bottom automatically, and then you've got to adjust it to where it comes out where you want it to. And I will probably have it come out the through the conduit opening, most likely, when I set these up. So that's done. Okay, so now instead of coming out the bottom, it comes out the side. So that'll work. Put that plug in the bag. Okay. Put that right there so I don't lose it. Now, I know I was telling you a minute ago how this works, okay? Simple. Now, it only goes so far before it runs out of space to tilt. And that's fine. I'm not too worried about it. When I first saw it, I thought it was a pan tilt zoom maybe because of the way everything's set up. But now I don't know what it is. But it's got these little screws sticking out here that you can adjust, but they got them so tight you can't adjust them. So that tells me right there they've already set them up. I'm going to set this up out here. Now it does give you some markings that you have to have lined up. Okay, like right up here, that little sticker right in here says line up that arrow with this arrow right here. And what that does is that's so that it knows that you know it's lined up right to where it'll seal it, make it watertight. Okay, so gotta have that. Okay, set that screwdriver aside. But anyway, also has two arrows on the outside of the housing for the camera that you've got to have lined up. Now, I used to have some friends who I gave access to, set them up to where they could see the security cameras remotely, because a lot of shady stuff went on in the apartment building they lived in, and it was one of my buildings. Now, I don't have them set up on there anymore. I didn't keep them, or I haven't set them up since they've moved. So if they're still on there, cool. If they're not, well, oh well. Now, the keyboard over here for that computer that I have y'all on. Now, what I'm going to try and do, I have to unplug this coax cable from that DVR, and hopefully not lose my internet connection, because my Ethernet cable is pure garbage. And get this cable untangled from everything that's up here. I've got a big mess up here right now. Okay. Now I'm going to set this one up on camera 1 for y'all. Find my camera 1. Let's see, that's channel 1. Input. Now, let's see. Plug up the power, and then get the other end of this cable here, and plug it up to that. Okay, now let's see what happens here. Okay, it should be coming on, and it's not. That's saying that something's not working right there. Okay. I know what it is. Gotta go in main menu. Okay. So we're in now. I'm going to go into System. Then I'm going to go into Digital, Channel Type. Now, these are going to be, what did they say these were? 1080p, I think. I think they said it was going to be 1080p. So let's see what we can do. And they're only letting me get 8 out of that? That stinks. Now I have to restart this, so what I'm going to do, okay, now it says 1080n, 8 cameras, and 8 at 960p, or just 8 cameras, period, 8 at 1080n and 10 at 960p. Let's see what happens with that. Now, in some ways this is better than what I had, some ways it's worse. Okay, now it takes it a minute to restart, and it's weird how it restarts. My little space here is doing funny stuff with the fan. So that's going to have to be addressed. Probably have to take the thing the rest of the way apart and clean it. Okay, so it's not configuring for that. Okay, so we're going to go back into guide. Cancel, not that one. Wrong one. Main menu, sorry about that. Okay. So let me in quicker this time, which it wasn't supposed to do. Digital channels. Cancel channel type. So it's not sensing any cameras, which is weird. Now, this thing does have a cable that came with it in the box, which, where did I put that cable now? Dang it. That's probably what I dropped too. It has a cable that came with it. There it is. Okay. And this is supposed to allow me to set up the camera. So I had a feeling I might have to do this, and I didn't want to. So that kind of stinks. But I have to actually go into the settings menu in the camera and adjust that. To see, this is this weird setup that they've got here. It's looking for TVI. Let me see what we can do. TVI and AHD. Let's see. Camera 1 maybe. Okay, so it's not detecting anything for whatever reason. Let's see what we can do. Because see, inside there, inside the camera box housing, on the camera itself, it has an RCA jack built in, and it comes with the cable that goes from RCA to BNC, which is a style connector. And then it has a little toggle button that's up, down, left, right, and enter. And I'm going to hook this up and see what happens with the with it, and see if it'll allow me to do the settings, because I'm not sure what I'm doing at all here on this, because this is a first. Okay, upside down, but it still let me view it. Okay, there we go. So I have gotten camera 1 to come up. Let's see if I can get it up there. So that gives you an idea of what I'm going to see. Okay, let me just get that. Okay, now you're going to see what I'm seeing on my computer screen. Let's just do this. We'll just put it over here. I don't know why it wouldn't work with that, but now let's see what happens with this. There we go. Language any, lens auto, manual auto. Okay. Get out of that. Next, backlight off. Motion detect. Now that we want on. Okay, camera reset, back, exit, and save all. Exit. Okay, let's see what happens when I switch back to the original output. Exactly what happens. Okay, it does not like that. So that tells me I'm going to have to do something different. It does not like the original output, but yet it likes the internal output. And let me look at this manual right quick, because it does have more setup material. That I'm not sure of on setting it up. I mean, it tells you all these settings and whatnot, but it's a general manual. I mean, I hate these manuals that give me these or these companies that give you this general manual that covers see, it gives you a box camera, Vandal Dome, internal dome, IR bullets, IR Vandal, OSD, and it's like, just give me one. That's all I need. It gives you a drilling template. They say it gives you a waterproof pad to mount it so it seals, but I don't see that. That wasn't in the box when I opened it, so let's see here. Now it gives me all sorts of information on these camera adjustments that I was showing you. OSD control may differ from shown above. OSD buttons may replace the joystick type. Service cable output may not be available and may be optionally supplied with the product. Okay. So, let's see. See if I can see anything. Okay. It gives me a whole variety of buttons. Let me see what happens if I hit the coaxial. Okay. Channel 1. Okay, I remember there's some other settings that I can do. Let me see here. Main menu, system, was it? No, it's service, encode, general, no. There's so many settings on this that you can do that it's ridiculous. Let's see, system, net service, network encoding. Let's see what happens if I go to coaxial. What I'm trying to do is see if there's a way I can set it up to control it using my mouse, but it's not giving me that option. So okay, so go into camera, Okay. So lens auto, shutter auto. Okay. Let's see what that does. Okay. Now they got some weird stuff. I mean, I can control how fast it goes into day night, mirror sharpness. Yeah, we'll go all the way up to. Get back up to 129 where it was, or thereabouts. Okay, hue gain, mirror off. Okay, 2 DNR. Trying to find what I'm wanting. Next screen, backlight off, DW. It's not bad. It actually made a difference. Motion detect on. Detect sense, way up, block display off, monitor area on, area select. Camera ID. Let's see, this is, we're just going to set it up as there we go. Okay. I'm still getting used to this because they've got it. It's weird what they've got here. Because see, on my other one, it you don't have the settings like this. So okay, let's see here. Okay. So now we will see what happens over here. Okay, that'll work. Okay. I accidentally hit. Hey, okay, there we go. So I'm still learning this thing. Oh, cool, I can adjust the location. Okay, so I'm just playing around right this minute. Because it doesn't really give me anything to tell me what I need. Camera adjustment, lens, type mod. Now, camera adjustment. Definitely has me wondering about this because I didn't have this issue with the others. So, digital noise reduction. Oh, okay. Privacy. Hide an area so that it is not displayed on the monitor. Okay. Like if you've got you're running a store and you have a camera that can see into a fitting room. And it's not, your intention isn't to catch the fitting room, but to keep from having a blind spot, that's a problem. Well, you can't have that. Okay. So with this, I would be able to, if it did that, I could tell it to block out that one little block where that fitting room is. And I wouldn't be able to see in there. Okay. Now, it's hard to set up cameras where it's not going to catch something like that. But usually you're good. Camera ID, camera adjustment, sync, videos. Okay, let's see what we can find here, because now I'm finding something different. Okay. So let's see what we can find. Sync. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to change the oil the bearings on that thing, because what it's doing is it's saying, okay, you should be able to change it, but you can't. Okay. But oddly enough, and I'm going to have to get a hold of them, because right now the way it's doing is, and I know y'all can't really see what's going on here. Got a huge mess over here. Okay, so what I've done is I put the jumper in here using the RCA jack, and it goes out and connects to my BNC cable to go to my DVR. Okay, but it's supposed to be connected to this one. It's not supposed to be permanently connected to that one. Now, why it's not working, I don't get. It should be working just fine, and it's not. And watch this thing decide to make me a liar. Yep, it's not making me a liar, that's for sure. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try something. I'm going to see what happens if I go back and tell it to reset the camera to original settings as it came from the manufacturer. 960H. That's what's going on. Okay. So we're going to go into settings, system, digital, channel type, 960p. This does not have a 960H. Freaking figures. What the hell would they give you a 960H capability when you don't get that kind of stuff? But anyway, we're going to exit that. We're going to go in here. We're going to go back to camera reset. Okay, exit. Now it's all back to normal. It should come back on, but it's not going to, I can tell you now. And I'm not happy about it. Yep, that's what I figured it was going to do. Okay. Not a very good setup. Forget it. Okay, there we go. Now it's doing what it's supposed to do. Okay, maybe my cable wasn't very good. Okay, so I'm no longer on that jumper, and yet I've got a pretty decent picture. Let me show you. Okay, so it's on. Not the best setup. As you can tell, it's crazy. Camera's throwing me off because it's seeing the printer. There we go. So, let me see if I can't move this over. Okay. Anyway, on my exterior camera, I'm going to unplug that, move that up here, and we'll put it in the camera 3 position so I can show you the exterior quality, what it's doing. Okay, now let's exit that. Let me get out of that. Okay, camera 3. That is what I'm seeing right now, a big blur. Okay, I don't know if moisture got in there or what, but I know I didn't wipe the lens down. But I think that's because of the infrared LEDs not having anything to keep the glare reflecting back onto the camera itself. So, but anyway, we'll have to go into main menu, system, PTZ configure, camera 3, okay, control method, coaxial, okay, address is going to be 3, baud rate 9600, that's all I have to change. Boom, boom, boom. Now, if this was right, and I had already set all that stuff up there, you can see I can pull up a menu here, okay, and set all sorts of stuff. But that's it, okay, at least the other day it was. Now I'm going to pull that back up here because I need to control it and get it back down to return. Now it gives you more stuff that was underneath that. For some reason, when it opens, it goes to the inside the first menu, AE. So now I'm just going to hit up arrow once to get to exit, hit the center to exit that. Now, Oh, it's going to work today. That's good. Because see, the other day it wouldn't. Yeah, that's the residue of the protector for the globe. So now I know I'm good. Now I like that. That has actually done perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit that. Oh yeah, beautiful. Now I don't know if y'all can. Well, they can't tell now. Okay, so one thing you can see is that little red glow there. That's actually the infrared from another camera I set up there, but that camera is only receiving power. It's not sending back any signal yet. Okay, that makes people think the camera works. So yeah, it's kind of cool. Now I'm gonna pull up my see what happens when I go to PTZ. Okay, it's not gonna work. Okay, so we'll go into coaxial control again. Pull that back up. I want to go down just a hair. And in just a hair. Now, you can see down here there's some nastiness. I'll adjust for that later. But right now I'm very happy that it is actually working, because last night it wouldn't work with my other one, with my little 8 channel. So I'm happy with this now. It actually is a lot better of a DVR than the one I used to have. Now, I can go into mine, or into menu, and go to motion detect, to go to camera, I think that was 3, enable. Now it's going to have sensitivity adjustment. I try to go to higher. Then I go to a zone set to look for motion. Now I'm going to clear all this out, okay, and tell it I only want activity in that area. And what it'll do is, now if there's activity in that pink area, it will post an alarm. Now I have to tell it, okay, camera 3 record channel, post record I put 10 seconds to see what happens. I need to up that. I'm going to go ahead and up that to 15 seconds. Now I'm going to go out of that. I'm going to tell it to write log, tell it to send email and mobile reported. I don't know if it'll do it or not, but we're going to try it. Okay, now we're going to go into, let's see, is it advanced? Device info, nope. What? Device info, audio in channels, alarm in channels, alarm out channels. Okay, that's just standard. We'll tell it to go ahead and enable RS-232. Cancel. Okay, I'm not going to worry about that. We'll get out of that menu for now. Don't feel like dealing with the restart. Info, HDD. Now it's showing me as having a 3.63 terabyte. That's a 4 terabyte setup. So bytes per second, I can keep track of that. Get out of there, go into system again, encode, gives me all that encoding information, video, audio. I'll always have both video and audio set up. Tour, it just rotates between the cameras, so we're not going to do that. Net service, okay, there we go. Now, wireless configuring, no, and it says Wi-Fi not enabled, so we're going to click on that. We're going to tell it to search. We're going to tell it to enable, search. And it won't do it probably because it probably does not have a Wi-Fi card on there. Cancel, so not enabled. Cloud, mobile reported, not enabled. Enable, okay. Now, how is it going to know where to do a mobile reporting? Okay, it should do it automatically through the app. We're going to see what happens. UP wireless configure, enable. Now it gives me all this stuff and I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm lost there. Now it gives me an IP address and all this. I don't know what all that is. Device does not exist, so we'll go in there and remove the enabling. Okay, now it's supposed to give me email your SMTP server. Okay. Now give me all sorts of stuff, but yet I don't know how to set this up. And they don't give you all the information on how to set it up. Mail testing. Failed to connect server. Now, port 25, it gives you all this stuff. Like I said, I've not had a chance to read up on this particular DVR yet, but my QC. When you see what I'm saying, it gives me all this stuff, but yet I don't know what all of it is. So I've got to go in there and pull up the instructions on it and see what I can learn. It did come with a disc and it's inside, so I've got to pull it up. I'll probably use a computer from inside, but this gives you an idea of what I'm looking at here. So we're going to close that out. It does work decent, not the best, but I'm not going to complain because it's kind of an expensive DVR in a way, but it's not the most expensive. It's actually pretty doggone cheap without going bottom end. So what can you do? Oh, I know I told y'all I had gotten me a drone. Okay. I'm falling in love with it. Big time. It's a crackpot attempt at a DJI Phantom 3. Okay. So I'm going to see what happens with this thing tonight by setting it up to watch my fish tank. I'm going to see what the video quality looks like. And I bet you it will be decent. Get that. Something thicker through there because it's not quite tilted down low enough. So it's right now I've got it right side up or upside down because it's going to be mounted on the wall. But the problem is it doesn't go as far as some of the others I've had. So I'm not going to complain. It's a decent camera. We've got these BNC connectors for the cabling. We're using coax, so we had to get some for RG6 cable. And the tool I've got is supposed to work just fine with BNC connectors. But these connectors are just, they're garbage. That's another thing we have got, and I don't have those here, is because of we're using RG56, I think it is, Siamese paired cabling for the security cameras on a lot of them. It's 1,000-foot roll, $80. We got the crimp on, or the compression ends for the BNC for that. I haven't had a chance to see how those are going to work with my tool. I got my tools sitting over here in a little box. We're just going to see how things work, because hopefully these work better than what I've used, because I did over at my buddy's motel down the street. When I set his up, I used these same tools and never had a problem with them. They worked beautiful. But then I get here and I'm using these tools on the same things that it's supposed to be for, and it doesn't do very good. So, not happy about that, but you take what you can get. All in all, not a bad deal. I've got a lot of people want me to do security cameras for them. I'm trying to get out of doing the taking care of these apartments. My doctor does not want me working at all. I mean, he's made it very, very clear he does not want me working because of my back. The implant I got and all, just trying to work, I can make my back worse. So it can also mess up the implant. So that's a big concern we have. I want to work. Believe me, I want to work. I work as hard as I can, as much as I can. And I will probably continue working until I can't work, just cannot work anymore. And the bad thing is, okay, if the way the Social Security system's set up is a joke, okay, if you're born disabled and you cannot work at all, ever, for whatever reason, you can't get anything but SSI from the government to support you. And the amount you get is only like $750 a month. Okay? You can't live off of $750 a month. It's an impossibility. But yet you go to get food stamps and they only give you like $10 a month in food stamps to live off of. And it's like, okay, how am I going to afford to live off of $750 a month? Okay? So it's stupidity. Okay? And the reason why they do that is, oh, well, you didn't pay X number of points into the Social Security system, so because of that, you can't get regular Social Security. And regular Social Security disability is, right now, it's just like $106 or $1,006. Okay? And in some states, you can barely squeeze by on $1,000 a month. Barely. If you're lucky. Okay? But at least with regular Social Security, you can work and have, X amount of thousands of dollars a year income and not affect your Social Security. But with SSI, they reduce it so much that if you meet that income threshold, they take your money away. And if you meet it just one time, they take your money away and they don't give you back that money once you stop making that threshold. So if I get my Social Security and I go and work and I do one big job and I make $10,000 that year for the year, and that's it, and it just pays me that one time, and that's all I did for that one time for that year, okay, they're going to cut into my income, my SSI disability income, and then I'm not going to get that money back, ever. It will be almost impossible to get it back. Okay? Now, here in the state of California, they know that the cost of living here is much higher. So they give you a additional stipend on top of your Social Security of like $130 a month or something like that, or $230. Okay? Now, I don't know if that applies towards your maximum income threshold for that and all that. I don't know. And I found out some stuff here recently that kind of shocked me. Okay, general assistance here. Okay, you're on general assistance. You're living with somebody while waiting on your disability application to go through, and you're living on your food stamps. And here, just a single person gets $350 a month as general assistance for a single person. Okay, but if you're applying for disability and you're helping the person pay the rent, doesn't matter how much it is, they nearly double your general assistance. And I was like, say what? Yeah, if you pay just $50 of the rent to them, then yeah, we double the almost double. It goes from like $340 to $640. I'm like, okay, that didn't make sense, but that's what they do. So California, they're trying to help people who are disabled. So I'm happy for that. Most states don't do that I know of anyway. I know Texas don't do it. Heck, you go and if you don't have any income and you go and apply for food stamps, back when I was out there, I was barely making any income. Okay, I was making, let me see, I was earning $1,000 a month, and that was pretty much it. I lived in a 29-foot camper trailer that I was paying $250 a month on. Then I had to rent a lot to put on, pay my utilities, needed transportation because where I lived, you didn't have the public transportation like that. So I had to have a truck. Fortunately, I had one that belonged to my dad, and he gave it to me, and he just kept it insured in his name. That was my vehicle. He didn't need the truck anymore, for the most part. If he needed it, he knew he could have it, and I'd just drive his car for the day. But anyway, I got food stamps to help with my bills. And even with the food stamps, I didn't eat very well. Bread, sliced meats, like little thick packs of Great Value brand ham and roast beef, cheap stuff. So, and then on top of that, no kind of medical benefits at all. And it's like, okay, hopefully I don't have anything happen. Well, my back started messing up. I already had a bad back. I knew it. I was trying to go as long as I could without having to have anything done. And I made it a good long ways. I mean, it was I was born in 78. It was 2013. So I was about 33 roughly, somewhere in there. Maybe a little older. I don't remember. Might have been 35. But anyway, I made a good long life of it without having to go and have any kind of surgery done. And even after I moved out here, my income, I still tried to work. And I couldn't. Every time I tried to work, nothing happened. I got out here, I got on food stamps, got me food stamps. They provide me with medical insurance and all this. Started seeing a doctor, and she started trying to find out what's going on with my back and treating it. Okay, and she had done X-rays, and she decided to do a full spine X-ray from lumbar to cervical, my neck, or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, come to find out, at some point in my past, unknowingly, I had broken my neck and never knew it. Okay, so that's something interesting. And that would explain why I've had some problems with my neck occasionally. It gets sore, does weird things. If I bump my head just right, it really, really hurts my neck. So I have to be careful about that. But anyway, she started treating me and everything, and then the office she worked for, they were playing games, and she wound up not working there anymore. Apparently, one of the ladies that worked there didn't like her, and tried to lie on her, so they let her go. They let this lady go, and then they found out that the other girl was lying, and the other girl lost her job. But it was too late. They'd already fired this lady. So she was a nurse practitioner, I think it is, or LVN or something. She was high enough that she could prescribe the pain meds and everything. Well, now they've upgraded the category for the pain med I was getting at the time, hydrocodone, and she can't prescribe that anymore. Now, she was supposed to be going in and getting recertified where she could prescribe those pain meds again. But anyway, I wound up not getting to see her because she didn't have her practice going right away and everything. And the guy I started seeing is my new doctor. Now, he's a real doctor. He's and everything. He has his license as doctor. He's an idiot. He didn't take X-rays of my neck, nothing. He's like, oh no, there's nothing wrong with your neck, and but he wasn't seeing X-rays. He wasn't seeing MRI or CAT scan or any of this. Now I've already got nerve damage from this, and I fought with him and fought with him. He wasn't giving me anything to help with the pain, and finally he referred me to a neurosurgeon or a neurologist who also is a neurosurgeon, and he looked at my records from the past and everything, and he's like, okay, let me go ahead and get my own X-rays and all this and scans, and we'll see what we got. So he got this, and he pulls it up, and he's like, yeah, you've got major issues here. Degenerative disc disease and spondylolisthesis is what I had. I already knew about the spondylolisthesis, but when my first doctor out here took a look at my back and did my X-rays, that's when we discovered I also had degenerative disc disease. Okay, so anyway, neurosurgeon, he's looking at it and he's like, okay, well, I would recommend surgery for you because of this. It's going to get worse and you could wind up paralyzed. Well, I already knew this was a possibility because of the nerve damage that I already have. So, but he's like, but I can't tell you have to, or it'd be in your best interest. All I can say is this is what I see. I would recommend. And I'm like, I already knew it, and I was already aware of what was going on, the potential there. So I was prepared for this, and I don't want to wind up in a wheelchair the rest of my life. So I'm in agreement. Let's go ahead and get the X-ray permission for the X-ray and get it done. And I knew it wasn't going to help me with my back pain much, if at all, any at all. And sure enough, it really didn't help with the back pain, but it stopped the damage in that location. So now I've got 4 screws and a steel plate in my back. That has limited my mobility somewhat. Okay? But I live in pain 24/7. I've been through physical therapy and all this, and I found something that helped somewhat with the pain, not a bunch, but it was enough that it helped some. So I got a TENS unit, therapeutic electroneurostimulator. It creates small electrical impulses and puts it in your transmits it through your spine, through your skin. So it does help. Okay, but it's very minimal because it's, like I said, it's transmitting it through your skin. And I found out about this. It's a spinal stimulator implant. Now, that helps with the pain more, but the problem is it significantly reduces my mobility. I'm not supposed to be bending over. I'm not supposed to twist at the waist. I'm not supposed to do this. I'm not supposed to do that. I still do some, but I'm very careful about how I do it. It's a very expensive system, and I don't like that. I don't like the thought of damaging it, so I'm very careful of what I do. And it helps, but I still have a lot of bad times where it can't do anything. It can't help it. I still get a prescription for hydrocodone, and I live in the pain 24/7. I've been taking hydrocodone since 2013, minus about 4 or 5 months. And yes, it helps with the pain some days. Some days not even that helps. And when that happens, there's nothing I can do. But I had a problem with my back acting up again and actually going out to where I could barely move. And I went ahead and saw my neurosurgeon, and he's like, okay, let's get some new x-rays done and we'll go from there. So I've got to get that done, and that's going to be fun. I think I see him again this week. But he's a good guy. He does care about his patients. Problem is, he was working at this Pratt in this office, and next thing you know, to get an appointment with him, you have to schedule it a month and a half away. And that's just too much. And apparently he got out of that office and he's out on his own now and does his own work. So I'm going to enjoy it. I am going to enjoy it. I do need to get a copy of his or of all my medical records for my disability. I have applied. I am slowing down on my work because of my back. I don't like it. My landlord today, he was out here. He's also my boss. He dropped off a bunch of the security camera stuff, like I was saying. And he was giving me a hard time about my dog's poop. And the problem is, my dog, he goes poo 4 times a day. But he does it within the first 4 or 5 feet of the fence line, where it's not going to affect anybody. So I don't have to pick it up every time he goes. You can't always do that. And I'll give it a few days to dry, and then I'll grab a shovel and scrape it up and put in one of the green composting bins. That's what they're there for. But he sees them today, and I hadn't been able to do it for days because it was raining and everything, and it just couldn't dry out. It's still wet, very wet. Anyway, he's over there. He's complaining about this and saying, well, you got to clean this up and and just acting the fool with me. And he says, and I'm like, and look at this. I mean, I'm pointing out, I'm saying, this is other dog's poop. This isn't my dog. This is a small dog, and you know whose it is. Well, I can't do nothing about them until you clean up your dog's mess. I said, yes, you can, because this is an ongoing problem before I even got my dog. I mean, I really ripped into him on this one because he's complaining about me, and he ain't doing nothing about this other person and their dog. So I really laid it on to him. Hey, Cody. Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, my buddy Cody's on. But yeah, he was being stupid. And when I really started ripping into him and I got tired of it, I just started taking all the camera stuff out and putting it on the ground. I told him, just take this, get it away, I'm done with you, Then he's like, oh, well, I'll be right back. And I go to grab the next box. I turn around and look, and he's gone. He's done gotten in his car and left. So it was like, okay. He knew he had screwed up. He knew I had a point. And he's being stupid. And this is how stupid he can get. There's 2 big pine trees at the back of our property. Okay? These things are 80 feet easy. 80 foot tall. Trunks so big around I can't touch my hands together on the back side, wrap my arms around it. And anyway, about 60 foot up, one of the tree branches breaks. Okay. Well, I had caught it breaking. I mentioned it to him once before, and he's like, oh, okay, well, we'll have to get that taken care of. Nothing ever came of it. Here the other day, one of the people behind us, on the street behind us, gives us a letter for him, and the gist of the letter was you have a branch broke off on your tree way up high, and it's just sitting there. And if it breaks off from this wind, breaks loose and comes down, there's a good chance it'll take out one of my sheds, hit my house, hit one of my kids, somebody in my family, one of those things. So I get a hold of him and I tell him, say, hey, we got to get this taken care of. He gets somebody to come out and give him a quote for it came out to $1,000. And it was take that tree, that one branch down, get it down without destroying any other branches, and haul it away, to trim a few other small branches down low that were hanging on the fence, actually almost hitting the fence because they were hanging on it so much. And, just general, and then haul that stuff away. $1,000, that's not bad for what's involved. And they would even clean up their own mess. So that's a bonus. So they get here yesterday. Yeah, yesterday was Friday. They get here to do this, and it was a crew of 3. First one, he's getting set up to go up in the tree, getting his chainsaw and his ropes and everything run, and he's doing this. And the other 2, they start trimming this tree down and picking up all the branches, all these little branches off this other tree. And they get that done, throw it in their truck, and the other guy, he gets up there and he hollers down, he says, hey, there's 4 branches up here that are damaged, not 1. The one took out 3 more, come to find out. So this guy calls my boss and tells him, hey, we've got an issue. There's 3 more branches up here that branch took out, and they've all got to come down. And it's going to cost, I'm going to have to charge you $400 extra. So $1,000 for all that. Oh, okay, that's not a big deal. It was $600 originally. My boss says, no, that's too expensive. Get your stuff and get off my property. Now this guy's already done some work. My boss says, I'm not paying him. He wasn't supposed to do any of it. No, he was, because you told him to come here and do it today. So the guy has grounds for a lawsuit. How much is he going to recover? $200? It's going to cost him more than that just to file the lawsuit. Now he can, if he sued, he could recover his losses as far as filing in court, and he would get more money. But he's not going to do it. And my boss actually had the guts to tell me and tell him, he can get somebody to cut this huge tree down for $1,000 or less. Yeah, right. And once they bring the other guy out, I'm going to tell him, hey, look, here's what's going on, and stay away from him. Plain and simple, stay away from him. It will be your worst mistake if you work for him. And the guy will leave. I'm going to protect people if I can from this guy. So I'm just tired of the games with this guy. And if I had the money, I'd be buying a house right now and be out of here next week, just to get away from this idiot. So yeah, it's one of those things. But yeah, it's been a long day. I've been up since earlier than my normal time. I normally don't wake up until 8, and I just kind of lay around for about 15 minutes. My day don't start till 10, officially. But today, 7 o'clock, I'm up, out of bed, and by 8, I'm out the door. So I've got to go get some rest. I'm tired. Got more than I can make time to do. Hopefully everything works out real easily with these cameras, because I got to get some money in. I got bills to pay and not enough money to pay them. Y'all comment, like, and subscribe. And have a wonderful weekend. Cody, I'll message you on Instagram. Sorry I didn't see your message until just now. Till next time, y'all. Catch you on the flip side.